Children, I need your help. I want to build something in the world, something all-inclusive. Let's call it a house. This house will be non-institutional. This house will be uninstitutional. I'll go so far as to say this house will be anti-institutional, a non-denominational house. We'll call this house the House of Species Diversity and Wildlife Respect. Now, the House of Species Diversity and Wildlife Respect will not be a house of worship, but we will sing and dance and raise a ruckus. The House of Species Diversity and Wildlife Respect will not be making a platform for education, but we will be students of our fellow species. The House of Species Diversity and Wildlife Respect will not be making a case for management, for we know we are of this world and not above this earth. The House of Species Diversity and Wildlife Respect is 1, 2, 3, foremost and forthwith, a forthright celebration of wildness, wilderness, and all species. Hallelujah! The humble Reverend Kenyon presiding with your grace and plenitude. Children, there are a known 8,700,000 species on our planet. Our congregation here in the House of Species Diversity and Wildlife Respect. That is a lot of diversity, 8,700,000, and scientists think there may be tens of millions more. Our congregation, that is a lot of diversity. Maybe too much diversity. I fear that one species has lost its way. One species has gone astray. One species backslide. One species has transgressed. I think that one species that looks a lot like me has assumed. One species that looks a lot like you has anointed. One species, individuals of which look a lot like me, have anointed themselves as above all other species. They are us. Homo sapiens. Domo homo sapiens. No, that can't be. Oh, fine, just blame everything. Cancel culture, cancel all culture, and blame it because it's all made by white men. Well, can't we just fix everything? Can't we just fix everything with technology? We are so screwed. I accept my part in creating this domo homo culture that we live in. And here in the House of Species Diversity, we come together in hopes that we can open our hearts, open our souls, open our eyes, ears, and mind to nature, and perhaps you will help, Mama Gaia will help us to a new spiritual awakening. A story. I was standing in a wood shop with a carpenter friend of mine, Skip, and we're looking at this beautiful piece of wood, a cut of lumber, and we're looking at it, and we're both just kind of looking at it, And suddenly Skip says, "That's why I believe in God." I was like, what? Kind of shocked me. I mean, really? Do I believe in God? I never thought of Skip as being religious, and he continued, "Because it's so beautiful." I mean, how does that happen? Well, I myself, I had always thought of everything as being kind of spiritual, in that hippy-dippy way. But as we looked at that piece of wood, the spirit of the tree was talking to us. That tree that had been cut down, dragged out of the wood, skinned, sliced, baked, and there it was in front of us. The spirit of that wood was still talking to us. So we come together in the House of Species Diversity and Wildlife Respect, easy enough for me to say, because we want to honor our diversity. So we have to ask ourselves in the House, how do we honor the other 8,699,999 other species that are members of our congregation? How do we honor them if we do not honor ourselves? We have to ask ourselves, are we safe without the diverse support of the other 8,699,999 other species that are members of our congregation? No, we are not. We know that now. So in the House of Species Diversity and Wildlife Respect, we come together to learn to honor diversity. How do you honor diversity? I don't know. I mean, That's not a rhetorical question. I am a domo homo. I was raised in a domo homo household. Sometimes that domo homo culture like clouds my mind and literally clouds my mind. Something comes right down out of the cloud, boom, and it logarithms me and makes me want to buy something, makes me want to do something sort of pseudo-sensual to somebody. And I don't need to buy anything, and I never want to do anything pseudo-sensual to anybody. So, how do we honor diversity? When my mind becomes clouded like that, I go for a walk out into the world, and I tread upon the earth, and I partake of nature. And I try to find a path. And I want to go down a path right now that's inspired by a great American thinker, by a question that he asked, and a great writer and humanist, James Baldwin, and I paraphrase. How do we connect our private life to our public life? How do we take the succor, the passion, the love, the integrity, the honesty, the grace that we create in our home, and how do we walk with that into the world and make that connection? Walk down this path with me for a second, because when you go down that path, you will also face your own death. Yes, your mortality. And our homo domo culture tells us constantly, over and over and over again, that if we acknowledge death, we're not really living. But if you do not acknowledge your own death, then it is projected onto others. If you do not recognize your place in the life cycle and where we belong in the totality of the earth and living and dying, then your death is projected onto others as unfortunate inevitabilities, collateral damage. Respect! We all know what that is. Our mother taught us that one, right? We respect our mothers because, well, they gave us life. And we respect the earth because the earth gives us life also. What we don't respect, I think, is our own knowledge. We know we can't take from Mother Earth and not give back. It's bad economics, for Christ's sake. And can we finally say, white supremacy is not working? Christ knows how long. As a ruling paradigm for the last 2 millennia, white supremacy is not working. One more. The climate crisis is the colossal failure of free market capitalism. Yet, let us not place blame. For blame is the fuel of conflict. Let us sing and dance and create a ruckus. Let us save what we have. Children, I want you to put your hands on the screen in front of you right now and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the earth. I pledge allegiance to the earth. The only beautiful planet that sustains me. The only beautiful planet that sustains me. The rivers, the sky, the mountains. Clean air, clean soil, clean water. Non-negotiable. With liberty and justice for all species. Acknowledged. Hallelujah!